work truck that is now traveling eastbound on San Vicente here. We are just past Westgate and coming up through the Brentwood area here. This pursuit, as you mentioned, has been going on for about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Sky 5 HD is first overhead here. Now this work truck is traveling eastbound over towards the VA and over towards potentially the 405 freeway here. He's going to have a major intersection that he will be coming up to here shortly, and that I believe is going to be Barrington Avenue. Barrington Avenue, it looks like he's just going through Barrington, and he's going to be making kind of a curving right-hand turn over toward Bingham Avenue and Federal Avenue here. So right outside the VA is where this guy is kind of creeping up to here. Not necessarily driving too fast, as you can see. In fact, he's got a lot of traffic in front of him, and so he is essentially following some of the rules of the road in terms of not weaving in and out of lanes here. So here he goes into the middle lane, and he's going to be making that kind of curvy turn over towards Federal Avenue here, and he's going to be right outside the west edge of the VA here. He'll be southbound, I believe, if he keeps going straight, southbound on Federal Avenue, heading over towards Ohio Avenue here, and so that is going to give him an opportunity if he turns left or eastbound over towards the 405 freeway here. So far as we can tell, he has only been traveling on surface streets at this point here, but we do have several units that are in close proximity to him. We're talking about 4 to 5 units that are now in kind of tight proximity to him here as he gets right behind the building there. We also have 2 layers of police helicopter as well as Sky 5 HD tracking him from above. So at any rate, we don't know anything beyond the fact that this might be a stolen vehicle. Again, no confirmation of that at this point. We're southbound on Federal Avenue, and we've just crossed over Ohio and heading through some of the city streets here on the west side here, the Sawtell neighborhood here, and kind of that is where we are going. We're on a southerly track here. In other words, a couple of miles he'll be heading down towards the 10 freeway here. If he makes a left turn, he always has the option of heading over towards the 405, so it kind of gives you an idea of what we're working with here. We're just on the west side of the 405, maybe about half a mile over Federal Avenue here southbound, as this guy, not necessarily driving too erratically as you can see, but again, a stolen work truck is what this is believed to be, guys. And we're coming up on an intersection right now where we could potentially have cross traffic. It looks like someone's stopping him. Okay, fair enough, thank you. And again, coming up on another major intersection here shortly, and we'll try and get that for you, but at any rate, this guy not necessarily driving too erratically, and that is going to be kind of somewhat helpful for the units that are following in close proximity to him. Guys? Well, just to give you kind of our best estimate here, we're southbound on Federal Avenue here, and we are just now going to be coming up on Olympic Boulevard in a matter of a couple of blocks or so. I can see Olympic Boulevard here just a couple of blocks away here, and he is heading southbound right towards that area here. We're essentially coming through Sawtell, and this guy driving pretty much as you see here, 20, maybe 30 miles an hour, and thankfully so, because this is a residential neighborhood, and we don't want him, driving too fast through some of these areas with potentially more vehicles, cross traffic here, pedestrians on the road. And so now we're just coming up on Olympic, and he's kind of slowing down here. Let's see what happens. Is he poking out? Is he poking his head out of the window there? Certainly looks like he's trying to draw the attention of the police who are in close proximity behind him. LAPD is on scene, and they are outside of the vehicle, ordering this guy out at gunpoint here. Let's hope that he complies. If we widen out the shot just a touch, Rich, just a touch. Sky 5 photographer Rich Prickett hanging on to this shot out here. Let's tilt up just a little bit to show you where he is. That's going to be Olympic Boulevard here right now, and they do have a kind of a semi-closure set up there, trying to get set up while the LAPD deals with this stolen vehicle suspect here. Now let's go back in and kind of watch some of the action here. We're going to be prepared to pull out of the shot here should this end badly, but it looks like the guy at the very least has his arms up. He's moving away from the vehicle, and it looks like he is complying with the orders of the LAPD, and that is a good thing for him because this is not something that he's going to want to continue here with the LAPD. So arms are up. He's stepping away from the vehicle. No doubt the keys are out of the vehicle as well. He will be stepping away, and that is certainly some good news here. He is taking this very seriously. He is complying with the officer instructions, and at some point he will either be asked to prone out on the ground, and that is exactly what they are having him do. And a team will assemble and make their approach to him. A secondary team will approach the vehicle in order to clear it, but it looks like this is going to be ending peacefully, and that is certainly some good news here. Still not in custody at this point, as you can see, but several units of the LAPD, several officers of the LAPD at gunpoint watching over this guy and his actions should he make any sudden moves, but for the most part being proned out on the ground, that is definitely a sign that this guy wants to give up peacefully, and that is certainly some good news. Again, you know, this guy not necessarily driving too erratically, and that is to his own benefit here. He doesn't want to be driving too erratically, but it looks like one team is going to be approaching the vehicle, and again, this pursuit will be coming to an end here shortly. Guys, that is the update from overhead in Sky 5HG. Let me send it back down to you in Hollywood. Ian, thank you. Just the best, man. You just are so super duper solid, man. Just the best. Thanks, Ian. He just smooth and subtle and just everything just worked for the Ian. All right. Nice job, Rich. Is Vance calling us? Hey, Vance, thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, we made the mad dash. Good call, brother. Good call. And thank you, Jen, for giving us that update here, because we weren't hearing it up here. Absolutely. We try to make it a point. We do our best. Okay, brother, we're heading out and back to the barn.
Okay, they're on Laurel Canyon. Northbound Laurel Canyon, wrong side of the road. Anytime. They are tracking mode. Tracking mode. Approaching Sherman Way, northbound Laurel Canyon. Yes. North Hollywood, North Hollywood, North Hollywood, North Hollywood. Approaching Saticoy. Oh, that poor SUV. And eastbound. Eastbound Stag from Laurel Canyon. Eastbound Stag. Residential neighborhood. And Lizzie, of course I can hear you. Well, it is tracking mode. They're in tracking mode right now, and that's an LAPD helicopter lighting it up. I didn't get the street. There's something from... No, I know that there's apparently, reportedly 2 females. I got that from our desk. Northbound what? It sounded like they said Sunset. It's not Sunset. Eastbound Strathern from Harvey. Oh, they're coming to us? Okay. Jeff and Susie, copy all. Anybody know the original want? 10 seconds, copy, thank you. We are North Hollywood. This is northbound web. It's a possible stolen vehicle. We're working on that. And it's one of those ones, again, is it a pursuit? Is it a following? Are they in tracking mode? I would go with tracking mode, just by what we're seeing out here. Now, the vehicle driving pretty much high rate of speed every now and then on the wrong side of the road. We know that there are 2 people inside the vehicle. There is a passenger and, of course, the driver of this car. SUV, they're saying it's an Acura, and you can see it there on the roadway moving pretty quickly. Now, LAPD, it was at one... but because of the way the vehicle was driving, and perhaps that the fact that they are saying possible stolen vehicle, they backed off of that. They backed off the chase. The actual guys on the ground, they let the helicopter take over. Right now, though, you can see those glowing red brakes up there on this vehicle. Looks like we're making a turn again. We're coming off of Laurel Canyon. And would not. We'll get that street here in just a second, but you can see that vehicle still moving along out here, North Hollywood, probably coming up into the Sun Valley area, and we're going to. Sorry, I got a couple other radios going on, but apparently he's been staying on majors, but then basically jumping through these neighborhoods. We haven't seen the vehicle slow down at any point. The guy that's driving apparently is a male. We're not 100% on that, but the driver does seem to know the areas pretty well, and the reason why I say that is because, ooh, little tight turn right there, little tight squeeze right there. We've seen him slow down for the big bumps. Out here in these residential neighborhoods, you'll see that car actually hit the brakes before those big bumps out here, so it gives me the idea that this person knows the area. Those front brakes, still glowing red out here this evening. That's not a good sign. That's going to show that that vehicle is going to suffer if the driver needs to lock up those brakes. Those hot brakes are going to create a problem. 2 people in the car. Officially, I would call this a following by LAPD. Helicopter overhead, calling out streets as we're working our way out of the North Hollywood area into the Sun Valley area right now. LAPD, these guys, professionals, law enforcement, and the thing that they value most is safety. They really worry about safety of the suspect, believe it or not, safety of the public, that is a given, and then of course the officers. They're probably weighing what this vehicle is wanted for and how the person is driving. It's a complicated thing. I mean, it isn't one of those things where I definitely wouldn't want to be in that seat where I got to make that call. Right now, though, we're listening in. We got a couple other radios going on. I'm going to get some of these street names for you, but what we are hearing is that they are talking about possibly trying some sort of pursuit intervention technique to bring this to an end. Definitely in the Sun Valley areas right now. We'll get you some of the street names. I can tell you we've moved away from the residential areas. We're basically in these more of industrial areas. Get a little bit wider. You can see a lot of junkyards out here. A lot of the sand pits out here and stuff. Coming up on San Fernando right there, making another hard turn. But these turns that they make, and they're on the wrong side of the road, very, very dangerous. The helicopter overhead, though, right now starting to talk about perhaps re-engaging this chase and or trying to do something to bring this to an end. Oops. We're on Glen Oaks. Glen Oaks and Osborne. Coming up on Osborne. Through Osborne. Whoops. Well, you know, Jeff, again, we'll get right into that right now. We know where we're at. We can tell you this is going to be Glen Oaks at Van Nuys Boulevard, pulling into a shopping center. Now we're seeing two women getting out of the vehicle and running, skateboards in hand, and a third person, a male, right there. So that's everybody's out of the car right now. These females running into the Food for Less out here, along with the driver. Now, LAPD, they've been following this vehicle for an amount of time, and, you know, Susie, they were talking about doing something, the PIT maneuver, that's actually an acronym for Pursuit Intervention Technique. I don't think they were talking about getting a vehicle out here to actually bump the rear end and spin it out, but they were trying to get units, other officers. There you go. These were the ones that were following behind. Now, this is North Hollywood units. You can see them right there. We're definitely in the Foothill area. Well established in Pacoima. These officers, they basically getting the information not from us but from LAPD helicopter. Same thing we just saw. Two females, one of them carrying a skateboard, backpack, running into the Food for Less out here, and along with a male that was bald. Right now, though, you can see that some of the workers out here are probably seeing all the or hearing the activity. But, you know, Food for Less out here in the Pacoima area, and pretty much all the Food for Lesses that I'm talking about, they all have some sort of security. So I'm sure that there's probably a security guard that's probably near the door. You can see one of the employees right now actually pointing at the officers, telling them where to go. But running inside this grocery store this evening, but you can see LAPD. Yeah, not joking around. One of them actually has a weapon out, so this is a very serious situation, even though they do seem like they are younger people. Right now, though, you can see officers from North Hollywood Division out here in the Pacoima area making their way inside the Food for Less. Oh, there must be something going on inside that store. Take a look. These people are running out right now. There's probably weapons out. I'm hopeful that there has been no shots fired. That would be extremely, extremely scary. But you can also see young children inside the store. You can see these people, employees and customers, all running outside of the building. Right now, though, the situation kind of changing. We can hear just the tone of the voice of the officers. They're talking about making sure that the back entrances are covered. You can see some of the officers right there, but something going on, definitely going on inside that store. Don't know if it's some sort of panic, maybe customers seeing the officers with their weapons out, but you can see there was a mass exodus of customers and employees out of the front of the store right now. Listening in, they're concerned that they're going to have this store locked down. That's what they're worried about right now, to make sure that those suspects are still inside. We're on the other frequency. They're talking about less than lethal. Look at these guys running in. I am on 5. I am on 5. I am on 5. See those officers running in there with those green rifles. Those are going to be the less than lethal. Beanbag rounds is probably a better way to, just for general terms. You can see them running inside right now. We're listening in. They do, it sounds like, I wish we could actually see it. I always hate just kind of repeating what we're hearing, but yes, we are switched over and I can hear you on 5. What? Awesome. All right, copy all. For you guys on the web, we're watching this right now. Suspects run in, officers run in, and everybody else runs out. Right now, though, we're listening in. We're hearing that they got the less than lethal, meaning the beanbag guns. Not sure if they have these people cornered. I can't see it being standoffy inside the food for less. They might be playing some games where they're running around or trying to hide. But we haven't heard the words Code 4. We haven't heard the words anybody in custody. So this is an ongoing little item out here. It was an interesting following, that's for sure. Looked like younger people, not making it any better or any worse, but looks like younger people inside a stolen vehicle. There we go. There's one of them in custody right there. Like I said, I hadn't heard it because we've been working with other frequencies. That's one in custody right there. Some more small children. It's always really scary when you see something like that. Kids and mothers coming out of a store. 10 to CBS, 10 seconds. There you go. That's one in custody right there. So we're going to keep an eye. We know that 2 more, a female and a male, still might be outstanding. Well, evacuated, I don't know about that, but I can tell you, we've got video when the suspects got out of that car and ran in. 2 younger women, and then, of course, the driver, a guy that was described as a bald male. They all went inside the food for less. They went in, the officers went in, and then everybody ran out. Now, just moments ago, just seconds before we went to air, we did see one officer coming out with one of the suspects, the female suspects, in cuffed, so they have one in custody. Not sure what's going on inside that store, though. We do know it was a stolen vehicle. We do know it started in the North Hollywood area. Some points that car was driving extremely fast, wrong side of the road. You know, just the usual running from cops stuff out here in the Los Angeles area. Right now, though, it came to an end at this Food for Less in Pacoima at the corner of Glen Oaks and Van Nuys Boulevard. We know that officers from the LAPD asked for less than lethal. That means those stun guns and or beanbags. They made their way inside that store. One person in custody. Haven't seen the other two come out yet, but we know that officers are inside there with the less than lethal. Can't imagine what's going on inside there. Maybe these two are still trying to hide, or they might not have been brought out yet. But as it stands right now, still a standoff out here at the Food for Less in the Pacoima area. There we go. Second person, that's going to be the driver being brought out. So one more person, and I'm sure that I'm hearing that that third person also in custody this evening. So all three in custody out here at the Food for Less. Live in Sky 2 of Stu Mundell. Back to you two in the studio.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when something wrong for you?
It was crashed out first corner on slope.
Is je door meldkamer? Ja. Achtervolging weer een stopteken. Richting Schaafvederstraat. Dat is wel niks van moeite goed, hè. Gaan rechtsaf Oostermaasweg. Er is wel een kap hangen. Linksaf de Blijterweg, richting Rusland. Nee, nee, ga door. Sorry. Nee, nee, ga door. Sorry. Politie, staan blijven! Ga je verliezen, jongen? Kom op! Staan blijven! Zeer achtervolging te voet aan de Hertogstraat. Ja, verdachte aangehouden. Liggen blijven, jongen. Geef je armen. Uitstappen. Armen spreiden, armen spreiden.
Lancaster from 22, moving to pursuit. 283, going to be westbound in the area of 741, Landisville.
Copy. Lancaster 10 to Lancaster, contact True Page, see if they have anybody west of Route 283.
Or excuse me, I believe that was Schoolhouse Road. I see red, white, and blue in front of me. He just crashed. He almost hit the officer.
Copy, he just crashed. Is he still moving? Where is he?
He's got a baby. Go, baby.
Webster 1020.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun!
Well, approaching the Mitchell from Vision.
Webster 1020.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! Shots fired!